Phil Loadholt, Colorado's offensive line coach, was asked about Tyler Brown, Khalil Benson, Jordan Seaton, and Shedeur Sanders, and he had some good things to say about him. Take a listen and get your take.
Tyler Brown is probably one of the strongest players I've ever seen in my life. That's from every level, NFL and all included, especially in the weight room. It translates to the field. He's a leader in the room, a guy you don't have to worry about off the field. Khalil Benson is a leader. That's the first thing that comes to mind with him. He's a leader. He's a dog. He's going to hold people accountable. He's going to be the guy who works harder than anybody. So love coaching him. He was the first guy to commit to me when I got the job. And he's just a leader, man. That's what he is. He's the alpha, the alpha in the room for sure. Jordan is a special talent. He is a very special talent. He came through, had a great winter, good spring, and now he's going into his first summer and getting ready for the fall. So, but special talent, going to be a really, really, really good player. Best in the country. You sit back and you watch him doing whatever he's doing, and he's a leader. Yeah. He's a leader. He's accurate. He knows exactly where he wants people to be. He's going to put us in the right protection. He's going to make us right. As long as we give him the time that he needs to make something happen, he'll make it happen.
There you have it. Matt, your thoughts on that?
Look, how I feel about Loadholt. He's a great coach. I think he's going to do a really good job. It's his first job, but I do know him personally. He's under the Bill Beatenbaugh tree. So I'm really excited about him being there. He's right. I mean, Brown is a goddamn Hulk. He's a freak. He's a great point of attack guard. Benson is a dog. We talked about this yesterday. He's an ass kicker. He wants to compete. He's a perfect complement to Seaton on the other side. We talked about the ability to really excel when you have two good tackles, and they got two good tackles. Zelinkus in the middle, I think he really ties the room together like a good rug on Big Lebowski. Zelinkus really ties the room together. And, he's heady, he's smart, he plays well under pressure, and he's a Colorado kid. So, you've got a little bit of that fucking Mile High Madness there at the point of the spear, surrounded by four massive offensive linemen. I mean, Brown is the shortest of the group at like 6'3.5", 6'4", but the other three, Seaton, Benson, and Meyer, are all 6'6" plus. So they're huge.
They're all 300 pounds.
They're all 330.
Yeah.
Like Zelinkus is about 300, 305. Everybody else is huge.
Yeah.
So that's what we needed in Boulder. Last year we had height, but we didn't really have a lot of girth. And after the initial 3-game, real explosion, Oregon put the blueprint out on how to beat the shit out of us, and we couldn't run the football. So I really think that changes this year. I think that Colorado is going to be able to really lean on people and run the shit out of the ball. And knowing the way that Coach Loadholt played, and knowing the way that he's going to coach, I'm telling you, bro, if you just understand that I know more about CU than everybody. And I'm not being cocky. That's a fact.
I agree.
I am interwoven in the community. I know what they're doing. I know how they're going to do it. I know who they're recruiting. We talk behind the scenes constantly. The information I know that I don't talk about is deeper than the shit I talk about. So when I'm telling you they're going to average 4 yards a carry and run the ball more, I'm being dead serious. You're going to see Shedeur under center. They're going to move the pocket. It's going to be more pro style than you've seen mixed in with spread and 5 wide and fucking 5 elite receivers on the field and being able to pass block with 5. Last year, they couldn't pass block with 6. So this year, they're like the UCLA debacle that we saw last year. That's not happening again this year. You have too much talent on the field. They can actually win one-on-ones. And you won't also, like I said, and I know that this is a clip you're going to put up later, but I'm going to reiterate this. It's like I want to make a T-shirt. When Shedeur doesn't have to do everything, Shedeur is going to be able to do anything. You can't double team Travis Hunter and cheap shot him. You know how good he's going to be? Like, fuck, man. It all comes back to the offensive line. So as long as the offensive line continues to improve and Loadholt's got them moving in the right direction anyway, they're going to be scary dogs. So everybody can talk that shit. So he's going to win 3 games, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if everyone gets hurt, they're going to win 3 games. Yeah. But they're going to be pretty fucking good. So I really think the offensive line is going to be the catalyst for the explosion that you're going to see out of this football team.
No doubt. I wanted to ask you a question about recruiting. You mentioned Zelinkus is a Colorado kid. With Deion bringing in a lot of different transfers, 30-plus transfers this offseason, do you think that in-state recruiting is kind of dead in college football, and this is kind of a broader question than Colorado. I was just using Zalinkis as an example. But do you think in-state recruiting in college football is dead?
No, I don't. They recruited 16 high school kids last year, and a bunch of them played.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still recruiting high school kids. You just have to be elite.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, like, before Coach Prime got this job, the University of Colorado, and I've told this story before, but let's say, okay, when Carl Durrell was here his senior year, I would send a group of guys up there to be recruited. And I would look at the recruit list of the other kids they had in, and my guys were always at the top. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, very rarely a 4 or 5, unless they're in state, but like 3-star kids, California, Texas, guys that are getting recruited by like UTEP and shit. Right. So, and that's a fact. No talking shit. It's just what it is. And when I went up there this year, I'm looking at the list, and everybody I'm sending up, even great players that went D1, are all at the bottom of the list. Mm-hmm. Like Gage Ginther, who went to Tennessee and is going to play next year for him. He's like in the middle as a 3-star, 4-star. And they're like, yeah, we might bring him in. And I'm like, okay, things have changed. So you have got to be not only elite, but you have to be what they're looking for. So some guys just might not fit the 6'8", 340-pound mold. I don't know the name of the kid they just brought in, but he's a high school kid. He just committed to Lode Holt, and he is 6'8.5", like 360. He's a fucking wall. Like, that's what they're trying to get up there. The biggest, strongest motherfuckers they can find. Mm-hmm. So some guys just aren't going to fit that. Some guys are. But there's equal opportunity. There's a lot of really good players in Colorado. Brett Coolidge is offered by them, obviously, but he's got Georgia and Texas and all these others. He goes to IMG, but he's still a Colorado kid. Mm-hmm. Deacon Schmidt hasn't been offered by CU yet, but he's got Oklahoma and Kansas State and Nebraska. So we'll see what CU does. He did a really good job at camp. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other kids at Valor that are really high on people's lists. There's a lot of really good players around the state from an offensive line perspective. Nate Chastain up at Fossil Ridge. But at the same time, you've got to look at, do you fit what Coach Prime, Coach Lode Holt, and what they're trying to build in Boulder? That's all. So if you don't fit what they're doing, then it's a dead opportunity for you. But that doesn't mean necessarily it's a dead opportunity for all. You just have to be able to fit the system. I mean, let's be real. Does everybody remember where Coach Lode Holt went to high school? He went to Fountain Fort Carson in Colorado Springs. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we can't find 6'8", 320-pound tackles. Coach Lode Holt was a 6'8", 320-pound tackle from fucking Colorado Springs and Fountain Fort Carson. So, again, you have to recruit the kid. You can't let Coach Lode Holt at Fountain Fort Carson leave Colorado and go to fucking Oklahoma. You can't let that happen. So, hopefully, now Coach Lode Holt, being back in Colorado's home stomping ground, can keep people here if they are the right fit for the system and what they're doing in Boulder.
No doubt. And you mentioned that Lode Holt being able to maintain Colorado products. I think USC is having a big problem with that, not being able to keep California products. You're seeing California products head to Alabama, Oregon. Landing is getting a lot of them, and Texas A&M, other schools outside of California. What about the Lode Holt being from there? How will he really be able to bring him in and say, hey, stay in the state of Colorado, come play for Coach Prime, let me develop you?
Well, yeah, we talked about this. Why wouldn't you want to play for Coach Prime? Like, if he offers you and you don't take it as seriously as humanly possible, you don't like money. And honestly, now that you can make money playing in college, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
And because, bro, I love football, but I like getting paid for it too.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot. I loved it a lot when I didn't get paid for it. I loved it a lot when I got paid for it. So what the fuck? So it's, now it's not so much about recruiting, it's about development. So the key is not, can we recruit the right kid? It's, can we develop the kid after we recruit them?